Welcome to episode 20 of Life Without Cravings. Right, so let's talk about what to do when you are feeling powerless against the carbs and how you can turn this around in your favor. So, feeling powerless is not the same as being powerless. We often feel powerless when we try to use willpower to quit and then we fail. So, imagine have you ever had a plan when you wake up and I'm not going to eat any carbs today, this is going to be a good day, I know what I'm going to do, and before the evening is over, you have already given in. And then you feel awful. I don't even know how many times I've done this in the past. And I think that's a common theme amongst us carb addicts. That's what we do. We start every day and we stop every day. So that is usually what willpower looks like. When we try to use willpower, that's usually what happens. And this will probably make you feel like this is completely out of your control. There's nothing you can do about it because you're trying every day and you're failing every day. And therefore that must mean that you have no control over that. Like it's something that is just completely impossible for you to do because of the pressure and the misery that you have created throughout the day. So as long as you're trying to use willpower and you're just trying to white knuckle it, you're probably telling yourself things like, I can't have carbs, or I shouldn't have them, or I'm not allowed to eat them. And then you're just going to be at war with yourself. Because we don't like being told what to do, even if it's just you yourself telling you what to do. We still want to rebel against it. So on one hand, you want to have the carbs. And on the other hand, you don't want to have the carbs. Of course, there's going to be a conflict, and we know which one wins out when we let them battle it out. So this is what usually happens. We have talked ourselves into that today is the day. Today is the day when it's going to happen, and we're going to focus on all the things that we shouldn't be eating. I need to remember all the things that I can't have anymore, otherwise they might slink in. And you know what happens when we focus on something? We see it everywhere. So we are going to see every person who eats a piece of chocolate. And as soon as we see someone chewing on something, we're going to think about all the things that we want to chew on that we're no longer allowed to chew on. And we're going to get more and more frustrated throughout the day. And we are literally tormenting ourselves all day long. So by the end of the day, when you're coming home and your partner has just went to buy ice cream and pizza, and one of two things is most likely going to happen. Either you're just going to blow up in the face and tell them how inconsiderate they are and how they have destroyed your attempt to stick with your diet, or you will just go into what the fuck, one more day mode. Like, okay, I'll just do it one more day. That mode. And then you're just going to eat it all because it's there. It's the easy choice. Because when you have them battling against each other, pizza right in front of you, that's the easy choice. And voila, here you go, you have failed again. And you have made sure that trying to quit feels awful because you have been battling all day long. You just made sure that it was a terrible experience. And now you're even further away from wanting to quit because the pain of trying and failing is now fresh in your mind. So you're going to be associating quitting with that pain and how awful it was, how you were suffering the whole day long just to give in by the end of it anyway. So let's have a look at why we're doing this. Apologies, I just had to close the window. The neighbors' dogs are barking a lot. You might still hear them. Anyway, so let's have a look at how to do this. The reason for why we want to quit in the first place is because we want to achieve a certain thing. And that could be, you might want to lose weight, or you want to reverse some sort of disease. Maybe you just want to have more energy or something else. What all of these outcomes have in common is that we associate them with feeling better in some way. So literally what we want to do, so the reason for why you want to quit the carbs is that you wanting to feel better or feel different from how you're feeling right now. So with this in mind, I often ask my clients, if you could feel good right now and continue eating the carbs, would you choose to continue eating the carbs? And sometimes their initial answer is yes, but then when they think about it, when they actually take the time to think about it for a bit, it's actually a no. Because you can eat carbs and be overweight and have diabetes, have low energy, have brain fog, and still feel good and still be happy with your life. And I can help you to do that if that's what you want. But when you realize that it is a possibility to feel good now and do the process, go through all of this quitting and feel even better and do all the things that you want to do, when you realize that that is a possibility, you can choose to do that. Most people will choose to do that, right? So you would probably also realize that there are several reasons for why you want to quit. And it's not just about feeling better, but we also want to achieve a lot of things that we can't really do right now because we are stuck in our addiction with the carbs. And why would you choose to live a suboptimal life when you have the ability to feel good and do and explore what else could be possible for you when you eat the way that you are designed to eat? Like, why would you choose that? There's absolutely no reason. And you are not powerless. You have the power to change how you feel about your current situation at any time. So if you feel shitty right now, you have the power to choose that. You just need to choose it. You can start thinking differently about how you are handling your diet right in this moment. All that is required is for you to decide that you want to think differently about it, and then you do it. That's all. Or you can just plod along, keep doing what you do, and feel good about it. Maybe that's exactly how you want to spend your life. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And if that's what you want to do, just make peace with it. Don't battle with it. Like, just explore that as an option. And if that's what you want to do, then you already have what you want. And then relax about it. Don't let anyone else tell you what you should be doing. It's all about what you want. Because no matter what you choose, the most important thing is that you actually do choose, and that you choose from a place of knowing that there is a choice to start with. A lot of the time we will choose something because we don't think that the other option is available to us. But if all options are available, which one do you choose? So having said that, if you're anything like me, you will most likely feel as if there is a lot more in life that you want to do and experience, and you want to maybe see what you can actually achieve. Like, how far can you go? When you start taking control of this, how far can you go? And when you decide to do things differently, like, what are the possibilities? What other things in my life can change? If that's you, then it's time for you to start taking some responsibility for a lot more than just how you feel right now. So if this is you, everything that I say from now on applies to you. So listen up. Everything that is happening around us are circumstances of our lives. So whether your boss is being grumpy, the fridge might be empty, there are no good places to shop near your workplace, there might be free sweets at the reception desk, maybe a friend is offering you a piece of cake, or your partner has ordered 2 pizzas for 2 people, or it might be 50% off of your favorite chocolate at the supermarket. All of that is just circumstances. This is the world that you are living in. This is what it looks like. And it has absolutely nothing to do with whether you are eating the carbs or not. Do we agree? You better say yes. When you can take responsibility for everything you do, none of that matters. It doesn't matter at all. Not one bit. It's all irrelevant. It's all just circumstances that we can't do anything about. They're just going to be there. So taking responsibility means that you do not blame other people or situations for your actions. I don't care if there was a huge cake on your desk when you got to work. You can still choose. It is not the person's fault, the person who's put the cake on your desk. It's not their fault if you're eating the cake. It's always your fault. Unless they literally shoved it down your throat. Then you get to blame them. Most people don't do that though. It is not their fault, even if they try to make you feel guilty by saying that it's a waste if you don't eat it, or they're getting offended when you don't eat something that they have prepared for you. Still not your fault. I mean, it's still not their fault. That's on you. Because you always get to choose. You are responsible for how you feel about it and what you do when this happens. Likewise, you are not responsible for how they feel about your response, or the actions that they will take as a response to your response. Which means no matter what they say or do, or feel, when you turn down their cake or their pizza that they have made especially for you, it's not your fault or your responsibility to change any of this. That's their mind drama. You are only responsible for your own actions and feelings. So I have a few questions for you that you might want to ask yourself when you're in these situations. So the first one is, how do you want to respond to someone putting pizza in front of you, or cake, or whatever? How do you want to respond when someone does that? And you might say, I want to be totally okay with that being there, and I want to feel confident in my decision to not touch it and feel okay with not doing it. Okay, that's the first step. The second question is, how do you want to respond if they are expressing their emotions? They might have a tantrum when you say no, and they might tell you how evil you are for not eating it. How do you want to respond in that situation? You get to choose, but most of the time we don't even think about this until it happens, and then it's a panic reaction. And the last question is, how do you want to feel about how you respond to the pizza or the cake or whatever it is, and how do you want to feel about them having a tantrum? Because you get to choose. It's always up to you. That is your responsibility, to choose how you want to act and react in these situations. And if you want to eat the pizza, you can still do that, but don't tell yourself that you are powerless. Because you made a choice, so take responsibility for that choice. Admit to yourself that it was a decision that you made and you had a really good reason for doing so. If the reason is to avoid conflict, just check in with yourself, make sure that you are being honest with yourself, because this is really a good reason, but only you know what a good reason is for you. But I'm just saying that that is usually not a good reason. So in a nutshell, if you feel powerless against the carbs, you will want to take responsibility for your actions straight away. And you do that by acknowledging that you are in control of you and that you always have a choice. So you get to decide how you want to respond to crap food around you, no matter where it's coming from. And you also get to decide how you want to respond to people that are trying to convince you to eat the crap. Up to you. And you get to decide how you want to feel about it. And I'm not joking. All of this is available to you right now. When you stop pretending as if the choice isn't yours, and you stop justifying your eating behaviors and stop blaming others, you are taking responsibility. And that's what you want to do. And once you do, you are no longer powerless. You can no longer say that I'm powerless to the carbs, because you really aren't. If you're still confused about how to do this, I'm teaching all of this in my group, Quitting for the Last Time. We have an amazing group going right now. It's such a great bunch of people who are all motivated to quit the carbs permanently. And they bring up such excellent questions in our group coaching calls, which means that everyone who's there, who's listening to it or watching the replay, they get helped as well. So it's not just the person who's asking the question, it's not just the person who has that problem, but everyone else who's watching it as well will benefit from it. And that's the magic of group coaching. That's why I love group coaching. You learn so much from watching other people getting coached. And when you see someone else ask something, it just widens your perspective, and you get to sort of take part of and see the problem from a different angle. And you can see how other people's problems are very similar to yours. It's just that they have a little bit of a different flavor. And it's a lot easier for you to just learn and apply that to yourself when other people are getting coached, because you're not in the hot seat. You're not being stressed out by me asking you questions. You actually have the time to just take it in and let it sink in, and then you can just go and apply it. So if that is something that speaks to you and you want to quit once and for all, just go check it out at pimjansson.com/group. If you decide to join, you're not going to regret it. Because if you want to make this happen, I will make sure that you succeed. And that's a promise. And you definitely have access to me pretty much around the clock in our private community, unless I'm sleeping, but I'm there every day. So you don't even have to wait for the next group call or to book in your next private session. If you need help right now, I will be there within 24 hours and help you. And I'm always there checking in several times per day. So if you're sick of feeling powerless and you want to do something about it, go and check it out. Maybe you will change your life forever. Who knows? Magic can happen, and magic do happen. And that was all that I had for you today. So remember, you always have a choice. Don't ever tell yourself that you don't have a choice. You always have a choice. See you next week.